We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. It seems this vignette from Shakespeare's As You Like It has never been more relevant to today's cultural and political climes. Partisan activists play the roles of journalists, and those intent on personal glory and power act the role of politician. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living through political theatre at its finest. But how much of the audience even realises this is all stage managed? Welcome back to Liberty Nation here on the Radio America Network. I'm your host, Mark Angelides. On today's show, we talk the Joe Biden disaster zone, red flag laws, why no one really supports Biden for a 2024 run, and much more. I'd like to say a special thank you to our listeners in Evergreen, Alabama on WNWF 1470 AM and WPNS on 1140 AM. Thanks for being here. Remember, this show is proudly sponsored by LibertyNation.com, where you can access podcasts, breaking news, analysis, and a range of biting and brilliant shows to whet your appetite for freedom and your fondness for the great American Constitution. With the latest results coming in from the primaries, they seem to favor Donald Trump and the America First movement, and things aren't looking very good for President Joe Biden. How long can he maintain a firm grip on American party politics? Well, that's a question that needs answering, and the person to do it is Liberty Nation's senior political analyst, Mr. Tim Donner. Welcome back to the show, Tim. Long-time host of this here show, I must add.
Thank you. Always good to be back.
So, Tim, with primary election results, they're coming in fast and furious now. We've seen some quite startling results, especially in the Texas 34th district with Mayra Flores flipping a long-held seat from blue to red. Now, that may not stay red as the special election only covers till January, but if you were a Democrat strategist right now, how would you be feeling?
I'd be feeling panicked, particularly about Hispanics, because that's the second most important constituency behind blacks for the Democratic Party. Joe Biden had 65% Hispanic support in the 2020 presidential election. He's now down to below 30% approval in a absolutely critical constituency for Democrats. The Hispanics, Mark, may be what they call a canary in the coal mine. That's sort of an advance warning of something that's coming. And if they cannot secure more of the Hispanic vote, I mean, it's a tidal wave that they're facing, not only in 2022, but in 2024, because they're already hemorrhaging with virtually every other group, including blacks, and Democrats are only issuing a 73% approval for Joe Biden. That's extraordinarily low for the party of the sitting president.
It is, yeah. I think that's the underreported story of the week, that the Latinos or Hispanic voters, they're just not pulling out for Joe Biden. Now, what we have to remember, I think, is that so many of these folks, they live near the border in the Rio Grande area. They don't like illegal immigration because of all the pressure it puts on wage growth, the crime that's associated with it, the cutbacks in services to fund looking after all the people coming across the border. And I think that it's really an area that Donald Trump got absolutely right, because when he said, build the wall to stop illegal immigrants coming in, he really resonates with not just, as the left-wing media would put it, the white racist voters, but people who work hard for a living, and those wages are going to be depressed because of an influx of illegal immigration. How does Biden deal with such a poor message?
Well, look, he promised one thing at his inauguration: unity. And one thing the American people are unified about is that they don't want an outpouring of illegal immigrants flooding over the border. Sure, liberals may be more open to it, but it's reached a point of real uncomfortability. We're setting records. It's one of so many things in which the president promised unity, and what he's doing is sowing division, because has reversed policies which were proven to work. But the contrast is now what's proving it, because you have a before and after. Joe Biden could make all kinds of claims from the cheap seats during the campaign. He could accuse Trump of anything, including being responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people from COVID. But, now he's in charge, and look at his record. So Trump's real play here is to compare his record with Biden's record. But if people are comparing records instead of personalities, it's pretty clear who would win in a rematch.
If Biden does decide to stand in 2024, which is a whole other issue that we may get into at some other point.
Yes, certainly.
He's got some problems trying to make the case for another 4 more years. So back to the primary results. Do you think that so far they've given any solid indication of what the country is thinking? Is the public regretting Biden, or with the prominent Trump endorsement wins, are potential voters worried of a return of what they see as the chaos of the 45th presidential tenure?
I'm increasingly getting the sense that the people who voted for Biden outside of the political activists, progressives, and those types are a little bit short of shocked at how incompetent, divisive, and angry Joe Biden has become. Now he is blaming all of his problems on the Republicans, on corporations. He's finding scapegoats for his mounting list of problems, and people aren't buying it. He's now underwater in almost every poll, to the point of being down into the 30s.
Yeah, I think what really struck me so much about this primary season is that the fourth estate, it's so determined to make every single race a referendum on Donald Trump. And by association, those people who supported Donald Trump in 2016, 2020, or both, it's almost as if the media has one message to push, and that's that most people don't like the former president. And facts, well, facts be damned, they have to take a back seat. I mean, if you look at the endorsements, Trump, he's batting, I think, at time of recording, 116 wins to 13 losses in terms of endorsements. Now, isn't this strategy of saying that most people don't like him, isn't it almost certain to backfire?
Well, with that, scorecard looks impressive, but let's keep in mind many of those were in non-competitive races, where there's just like a nominal competitor against the incumbent, for example. But he's still won quite a few more than he's lost. The ones that have not worked out for him are almost universally the revenge endorsement.
Yes.
It was a big mistake, it seems, to endorse David Perdue and to drag this longtime politician into a race to challenge the sitting governor in Georgia, Brian Kemp, because Trump was just infuriated. And so he did a revenge endorsement. It didn't work out. The ones where he's chosen carefully the people that he thinks are going to win have worked out well for him. Now, in the Nancy Mace race in South Carolina that was just settled, she's a South Carolina member of Congress, she voted to certify the 2020 election. And that was enough for Trump to support a challenger who lost. But Trump and Mace still are in good terms. But in another South Carolina race, Tom Rice, an incumbent who voted to impeach Trump and who was vocally anti-Trump, got slaughtered by the Trump endorsee. So where Trump is front and center, if it's not for revenge, he generally does well. But here's what's 100% successful in the Republican primaries, Mark: Trumpism. Because even those candidates that aren't getting Trump's endorsements are trying to convince the voters that they're the closest to his policies. Because again, separate the man from his policies. If you endorse and back his policies without explicitly endorsing his behavior, that is a winning formula.
Absolutely. Now, we're coming back with Tim Donner in just a short moment, where we'll discuss Biden's polling numbers, his legacy, his prospects, and a lot more. Don't go anywhere. We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
We're doing it for real, really real. Liberty Nation.
And Jeff Charles, contributor for LibertyNation.com.
I think we're starting to make an impact. Liberty style, fighting for freedom.
Daily tracking poll sponsored by Liberty Nation for Thursday.
Mentioned by Dan Bongino, Rasmussen, Jordan Peterson, and
I
others.
can do it again if you want me to.
Cited in Mark Levin's American Marxism.
I think we're starting to make a really big impact. Get noticed. We're doing it. Rock on. I'm gone.